guys, welcome back to the channel. And the season is finally over. And we're talking about Married at First Sight Australia season 9. But stay tuned for the live because I will be sending out a notification for that shortly. And then we're going to talk about that and discuss this whole grand finale and the dinner party together. But in this video, I came across, as usual, I like sharing with you guys any information that I find. But I came across these two short clips of both Tamara and, her discussing the text messages with regards to Mitch. And then also on that same show was Daniel and Carolina as well, speaking about their relationship after the show. So, first of all, I want to say a shout out to Today Extra, which is obviously down in Australia. They are great on doing their interviews when it comes to some of these cast members outside of the show. So, before we jump into this reaction video, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification. If you like the video, smash that like button, and also feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. So, what I'm going to do, like I normally do on my reaction videos, I'm going to play the clip, but I will be interjecting to kind of give my thoughts and reaction to what is being said on the clip. Okay? So, without further ado, let's get started.
Oh, Tamara joins us now to let us know what really happened when she tried to crack onto Mitch. Well, Tamara, good morning to you, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, guys.
First of all, were you shocked to hear that Mitch had shared those texts with Brent? What was going through your head?
No, absolutely not. That's not what I was shocked about. I was shocked at the way Brent came out with that and the allegations of you tried to pick up Mitch and got rejected. And that's why you see or you hear Jess and Sam next to me laugh. And they're like, what? Because if you saw the text messages, they were so platonic and it wasn't even me who invited us all to dinner. It was a mutual friend of Mitch's and mine that had invited Sam, Mitch, and I to dinner. So, look, there's nothing to hide in those text messages, and I'd show anyone who wanted to see them.
Okay, so let's stop right there. So, as you guys remember, and even before we got to the dinner parties over the past couple days, and of course the grand finale reunion, there had always been some speculation that there was a wife swap, right? So, we already know that Mitch had decided on the vow ceremony day or whatever, ceremony vows. I forgot what that's called. It's been a week, right? But he did not choose to stay with Ella. But as we learned in the reunion, which we'll talk more about the live, that they end up getting back together. Now, there were stories and rumors flying around that actually the wife swap involved both Mitch and Tamara. And then there was supposedly this wife swap that involved Ella and Brent. And if you guys follow me on Instagram, and by the way, let me announce to you guys if you do have TikTok, Romance Review is on TikTok as well, where I post a lot of candid interviews. And candid interviews, candid shots, clips, whatever. You know how TikTok roll. But I did post on Instagram and on TikTok both Brent and Ella coming out of his place in Bondi. So, of course, that got everybody stirred up. And the whole situation that he was talking about, how he was wearing Ella's clothes. So that was pretty interesting. And that actually came out on the Wash. Shout out to them because they have some good, candid, on street, conversations with these folks. But the Wash had posted that video where they were asking questions to both Brent and Ella on what's the deal with them, and she was coming out of his place, and pretty much they was headed over to Dom's watch party. And we got to talk more into that. I'm going to do several videos. It's after the season, so a lot of stuff is going to come out because Some of Dom's fans are not happy with her about what happened at that watch party, but that's a whole nother video. So stay tuned for that. But getting back to Tamara, you know, obviously from what we saw at the dinner party on episode number 36, they put her on blast saying that, oh, Brent said she slid into Mitch's DMs and, tried to come up, come and hit on him and he rejected you and all of that. Now, according to her, this was a group text that the friend had invited not only, of course, Mitch and her, but then even Sam was a part of this dinner that's in in these text messages. Now, let me just say this, that's one text message she's referring to. What we heard on the show is that there may have been several text messages. I don't know. And I would like to hear the other sides as well. I want to see, give me the risk, hey, you guys like to see what actually was said, she's open to showing the text messages. I guess on this show they didn't, show it. But yeah, she's pretty much saying that it was strictly platonic and if you guys want to see it, she's open to sharing it. So I don't know, maybe she'll share it. But let's see what else she has to say.
The text messages say you actually want a quote piece of Mitch?
Absolutely not. No, as I said, those messages were so
my follow-up
platonic.
would have had to have been what piece, and so I'm glad that they're not.
No, there's nothing scandalous to those text messages, and as I said, I wouldn't care who was to see them. Yeah, it's so blown out of proportion. It's quite funny.
All right, well, let's talk about you and Brent, because it has not been smooth sailing at any point throughout this experiment.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are a little bit maybe upset with how you have belittled him because of his occupation. Do you have any regrets or reflections on that?
I definitely can understand that, and I do see that from the public's point of view. And I want to apologise if I have ever offended anybody with the words that I've said. I absolutely don't look down on anybody else. I come from a working class family. Everything that I have, I've worked really hard for myself. My frustration, and I know the way that it came out is awful, but my frustration and what you don't see is the conversations that Brent and I have around our lives outside of this experiment, our goals, what we're, where we're going, like what we've done in the past. Like say Dubai, for example, he spoke about working in Dubai, and when I'd ask him, he'd always say, "Oh, it's too hard to explain." I'd be like, "Well, try and help me, try and help me understand. I'm supposed to be with this person for life, and they can't give me anything about themselves." And in one of the answers Brent gave me was, "I don't need to worry about the future. After this, I'll be set up," alluding to me that he's here for the wrong reasons. It was
Okay, let's stop right there. She said a mouthful. So, according to her, she was saying that I will give her, credence to the fact that she did apologize. She don't want to look down on people. She know what she said, and she said she know how it looks to the fan base. But at the same time, she said her family is a working class family. She worked hard for everything that she has done, so she doesn't look down on people in that regard with working. Now, I remember the whole context on the show and what was portrayed was the fact that she had a thing against waiting tables and retail and things like that. Because we heard her say when she left the set on the grand finale with the experts, when she ran down the stairs, they had this sound bite. Now, her back was turned, so you just never know. But what we heard is, I don't want to have to date anybody in retail. And then, of course, we heard Sam says you have every right to have what you want. So, hey, that's the problem with editing, producing, things like that. Because one, like I say, I always try to look at the whole picture and not just take in and consume everything produced on the show. I try to look at the big picture. One thing that a longtime content creator told me is a lot of times when backs are turned and you didn't see this come out of their mouth, usually it's something that was said from a totally different scene or whatever. So I've always remembered that. And we didn't see that come out of her mouth. We heard a sound bite. Anywho, The other thing is I found interesting that she said and that she talked about is the fact that they had a whole lot of conversations off camera. And when it came down to him trying to explain what he does, he was never clear about it. Now, this is according to her. All right. Of course, we would like to see the other side of the story. We will have to wait until Brent actually maybe have a response to this video, but or this interview. But the thing is that she was saying every time she asked him, he never gave her any clarity. And that, if this is somebody that you want to spend long term with, you want to know everything. And, the whole comment about, I'm not worried about the future after this whole thing is over, I'm going to be fine. I mean, if he actually said that, it would give an eyebrow raise to the fact of, okay, did you purposely keep that information because you knew it was going to cause drama? And the fact that maybe you didn't want to be married, and so you were looking for comeuppance in your social media status. I don't know. I cannot say that, but that's what she's implying from what's being said. And I kind of want to know your thoughts on this as well. But obviously, Tamara and Brent was not a match. It looked like on camera he gave it a good try with her, and, from what we saw on camera from the beginning, where at the hen party with the women, she said that she has masculine energy and she could really break a man. And then we saw everything that happened from the upside down knife to cut the cake and, everything that happened through the season. And then the whole waiting tables things up into the grand finale. So we saw a lot of negatives coming from the Tamara side. So, like I said, I'll keep my eyes to the sky to see what's going on and see what comes out. I always share it with you guys, but let us continue.
It wasn't intentions on, we're not getting along. So he's there saying, I really like Tamara, this and that. And I'm like, why? Like it just wasn't adding up to me. Everything he was saying was just so yeah, my
So you're
frustration
saying there
was
was a
just like,
duplicitous
do you
nature
have
of how he
something
was
to go
being.
home to?
He was being duplicitous with how he was talking on camera and off camera to you.
The conversations were recorded on camera. They're just not shown, which,
Right.
yeah, it's just disappointing to me because those comments were not made out of, like, they're out of context. What's
At the end
from
of all
what's been
this,
shown.
though, Tamara, and we do appreciate you being here and your honesty with this. At the end of all this in this experiment, how do you feel coming out of this now? How do you feel that this is coming to an end? You can go back to your a regular life. How are you feeling about it all? And do you think you can still find love out there?
Okay, so before we get into her answer with regarding to the future, I gotta say I find that pretty interesting because most people say when people are different on camera, and then when the cameras are away, they're another different person. She actually said that no, all those conversations did happen on camera. They just didn't air every clip. Now, granted, they cannot, because if that's the case, the season would probably be anywhere from 6 months to a year long. But the context is really important because if you take a piece from here and a piece from there and then try to match it up, it's going to come out looking one way versus what they actually remember happening behind the scenes. So I find that interesting that she say that because, like I said, most people like, oh, this person act one way on camera, and then when the cameras go away, they're a totally different person. She's like, nope, they filmed all of it, and you guys only got to see pieces of it. So I find that pretty interesting, but let's see what she thinks of her future.
I think anyone can find love, definitely. A lot of negativity of me has been highlighted, and that's okay. Like, I'll own it. I'm not going to blame anything on the edit. I've said what I've said. I know when I'm frustrated, I can be quite bitchy and snarky and whatnot. I do need to work on that, reflect on that. And I'm always happy to grow. I think we all should grow as people and mature and learn from our mistakes, and definitely think I'll take away from that.
Well, good on you. We're glad that there have been some positive outcomes throughout the experiment for you. We appreciate you turning up and chatting to us this morning, and we cannot wait to see what goes down tonight because we hear it's even hotter than last night.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of that interview because we still got to hear from Daniel and Carolina. But I will say that I am happy to see her taking accountability in this because she said, you know what, I can't blame the editing. I said what I said. And granted, they say a lot of stuff. However, producers get to pick and choose what they want to use and how they want to use it. So, as much as we have to see what we see with the cast members saying what they're saying on camera. You also got to keep an eye open on the fact of what's being used by production. So I want to put that out there. But yeah, she said she can, when she's frustrated, she can come be a little itchy. I'll just say itchy and or snarky when it comes to her comments, but she owned all of it. She didn't like what she had to say and how everything went down while she was on the show. So I'll have to keep an eye out for tomorrow. I keep an eye out on all of cast members from the different shows that I recap, and we'll have to see what happens. More tea, more information is going to come out. So let's now take a listen at this next clip. So we're going to move into the whole Daniel Carolina speaking on their relationship after the show. And then I'm going to, give some reactions to them as well.
That was a lot. It was a lot. How are you both? I'm good. Pretty good, yeah. No, but walking into that room when basically pretty much everyone hates you, it's not a nice feeling, I imagine.
Well, definitely not, but we had each other. It was good to know that we had each other's back, each other's support. So, yeah.
And that's a nice part. Like, it seems like you're still here and still together. And when you were there last night, and when you watch back what happened, of course, this all happened a while ago. How do you feel seeing it now?
Look, yeah, there's a lot of pretty intense emotions. There's a high anxiety. Like you said, there's a room full of people that essentially don't like us, and we're in it together. And you got to navigate that, so it's not easy.
Because I know that you demanded an apology from Mitch over some of the comments that he made to the boys about Carolina. I mean, were you surprised that he refused?
Look, I definitely didn't demand it, but I would have liked an apology. The way he kind of tried to get at me at the boys' night by objectifying Carolina, don't have respect for that, and I thought she was owed an apology.
Okay, so let's stop right there. So the first part of their interview that today spoke on is the whole thing about Mitch and his comment to Daniel about Carolina. And yeah, it was disrespectful. I mean, you talking under that woman's clothes. As much as people at that table didn't like them, and you find what Daniel and Carolina did was, as the show is betraying it as being betrayal, you don't clap back with another disrespectful comment. I mean, yeah, it was very objectifying, saying that the only thing that you love is her blah blah blah. I won't repeat exactly. That's what the only thing that you're in love with. That was totally unnecessary. And he said he did not demand an apology, but he would have liked one. And I know we had saw at the dinner party on episode 36 that he moved his whole chair to try to get that apology from Mitch. And Mitch was like, I'm not giving it to you. Ella was being the sidekick saying, yeah, you're not getting it. So my thing is, if you're happy in your relationship, just move on. Just move on. And I mean, they're not going to give you what you want. Bottom line is like Carolina just said, we had to have each other's back. So if that's what you're doing, that's what you're doing. Let's continue.
Carolina, the two of you were sort of scheming at the table. Is this about creating more drama or defending you two as an entity? How did you?
I guess a bit of both. At the end of the day, we signed up for a show and we wanted to entertain everyone. So
I'll tell you right now, this is entertainment over everything else.
Yeah.
And it has been entertaining.
Yes. Yeah. If it was more about love, there'd be two viewers.
Huh? Explain that.
Well, think about the ratio of how you see it portrayed as a love story as drama. 95 drama, 5% love.
Yeah, but I mean, there's heaps of drama.
And we're the 5% love.
You're the 5% love. Does that mean the others are the 95% drama?
100%.
Okay, so his perspective on this whole thing is that what remember when we saw Carolina said maybe we should start a little bit of drama and whatnot, and they saw it as being entertainment. They said, that's the purpose of them being on the show, besides their relationship, is to provide entertainment and drama. And that's exactly what they did. Now, I did find it interesting that they did say that there was 95% drama and 5% love based on those two people. Unfortunately, they're not the only two. I mean, because if you peel back all of the layers of drama that happened from episode 20 moving to 37, Olivia Jackson has been pretty much consistent from day one. Even that's what the experts said in regards to the relationship. Now, all that other stuff with Dom and the other folks, if you move that out the way, and I know that's a large boulder to move, the bottom line is that even though they're the villains of the show, meaning Olivia and Jackson, they're also a couple like these two who are in love with each other. So I don't know if Daniel kind of overlooked that, but yeah, Olivia and Jackson is also that other couple. So it was two couples, not just them. But let's continue.
100%, they are the 95%.
Mhm. But I mean, are you sorry for the way that it played out and what you did to your partners?
Well, we never really had anything with our partners apart from the fake marriage and the experiment, really. So it's not like we had an emotional or a physical connection with any of them. So for us, it was, we didn't think that we owned them anything.
Okay, so I've been talking about this on my lives and my recaps, and it's just I think it's they had to create the drama to go around this whole thing with her and Dion. The issue with all of this is the fact that they're making it look like a betrayal. Now, I will say, after looking at episode 37, the clips about, her asking Dion he needs to try. My thing is, if a person has already from day one told you, I'm not feeling a connection with you, I'm not attracted to you, on two separate commitment ceremonies, they wrote the word leave. At what point do you get it to say, this person may not just be interested in me? Now, unfortunately, it decided to play out on the cameras because with Daniel in the mix, Jess left him because Jess wasn't interested. So, and they were all at that dinner party like they were supposed to be under contract. They found a connection with each other. She was already, because remember, Dion said stay, and then he said leave, and then changed it to stay, and that kept him stuck. That's why I don't like the whole leave stay situation. For those that watch my lives, you know what I'm talking about. If one person says leave, the other person says stay, the stay supersedes the person that want to leave. And I don't get it. But maybe it's part a clause in their contract that they sign up for, so they can't really do anything about it. But even still, if I'm in something with someone, I mean, yeah, I'm not interested. Why do I have to lead you on? Because here's the thing, if she went full-fledged 100% lead on, then it would be that much worse. I mean, they're making it look pretty bad as a betrayal right now. But could you imagine if she was kissing on him and telling him how she really feels and all of this type of stuff and then sneaking off with Daniel? It would look that much worse. So she's been pretty much very transparent about how she feel about this man. And Dion keep calling it stealing. You stole my wife. You can't steal somebody who voluntarily walked away or is checked out mentally. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and like she said, it's an experiment. They're not technically legally married according to Married at First Sight Australia rules or whatever. But yeah, those two seem to be pretty happy with each other. But let's continue. Let's continue.
There, the display of PDA you two had last night, what was that about? By this point, we got a heat for that as well. By this point, we're in love. We live together. We're in a relationship. We're just being ourselves. But that was frowned upon.
Okay, so you guys, do you love each other? You found love.
We
Definitely
have.
found love. It's a good result.
There we go.
Yeah.
There you go.
100% love.
And you've provided lots of the drama for us over this season. Very sad to see it ending. And of course, I think the last reunion is tonight. So I imagine more fireworks.
A lot more.
Yeah, there's definitely more fireworks.
Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the video. This is one clip that actually came before the grand finale was aired. So that's when they saying, "Oh, tonight we're going to see more." No, it's over. They just happened to do this interview before episode 37 aired. But yeah, these two are in love. They're happy. I kind of would have hoped that the experts maybe would have put these two together from the start instead of putting them with people that was totally not right for them. Jess was totally checked out. She left. She actually had issues with the first groom that they had to get rid of because of offensive comments. And then, Jess ended up with Daniel. That didn't work out. And then they should have known that Dion and Carolina was not going to match. But they probably matched them for the drama that came out of it. But something did come out of it. Daniel and Carolina. And they found each other and they are now living together. They're in love, and who knows what's next. She has a 16-year-old, so I don't know if they're going to talk about having more kids or anything like that, but I'll definitely keep my eyes to the sky and keep you guys posted. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on Tamara, these text messages, how she's felt that, Brent might have not been there for the right reasons. And then the whole thing with Daniel and Carolina. Do you think it was an actual betrayal, or do you actually think that the way it was set up, they just ended up with each other happy and in love? So, all right. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.